Shri Krishna Parabrahmane Namaha. Shri Sadguru Paramatmane Namaha. Sarva Maharshibhyo Namaha. The Lord speaks. Sanjaya now records the teachings of Lord Krishna, who first of all asserts that there is no one for whom there is need to be sorrow. Sri Bhagawanuvacha 11th Shloka. Asocyananvasochastvam pragnavadascha bhashase gatasuna gatasunscha nanusochanti panditaha. Substance. The blessed Lord said, O Arjuna, you grieve for those whom there is no need to be sorrow. Yet you speak words of wisdom. The wise do not grieve for the dead or the living. Commentary. The teaching of the Gita starts from this shloka. So in the Gita Shastra, this verse is regarded as the seed or source, bija. Just as the whole tree is involved in a seed, the whole of the Gita Shastra is implied in this sloka. The message of the Gita starts with the word asocyan and ends with the words ma suchaha, do not grieve. So, it appears that the main purpose of Gita teaching is the removal of sorrow. Those who should not be grieved for. Every object in this world has 5 aspects. First one, existence. Second, light. Third, joy. Fourth, name. And fifth, form. Of these, the first 3, existence, light and joy, Sach, Chit, Ananda, are real and eternal. The later 2, name and form, Nama and Rupa, are unreal and transitory. The first 3 constitute the real nature of man and not name and form. But such is the power of ignorance, avidya, that man sees, knows and clings to the later 2 only, namely name and form. The first 3 are not directly seen, though they are experienced every moment of life. Thus, if we analyze and go a little deeper into the real nature of man, we find that it is indestructible and eternal. Only the later 2 go on continuously changing from time to time. Therefore, since the real man is eternal, one need not weep or wail for the modifications of name and form which he observes in life and death. When the real man is deathless, for whom should we grieve and for what? That is the Lord's position. Words of wisdom. Intellectual arguments are conceived by buddhi, by which power man comes to decisions after due consideration. But the intellect is finite. It operates within a limited range. It cannot go beyond the buddhi. Buddhi and the intellect are parts of nature and they are subject to errors and mistakes in their concepts and conclusions. But it is different with men who have crossed the borderland of the intellect and entered the realm of Atma, the superconscious state. He alone knows and speaks the truth. Arjuna did not attain that state, so he measures everything with the yardstick of his own deluded intellect. His arguments not to fight the battle are of his nature. Lord Krishna dismisses them all in one suggestive phrase, Pragnavadaha, and proceeds to state the ultimate position. The wise. Ordinarily, a Pandit is one who is well versed in the language and literature, poetry and scripture, logic and oratory. But the Lord here gives a new definition for the word. He is a Pandit who grieves not either for the living or the dead. Again in the 4th chapter, Pandit is described as one who has burnt up all his actions in the fire of Gnana. And again in the 5th chapter, the Pandit is described as one who looks upon all with an equal eye. So the word should be understood in the higher sense of a man of wisdom. It is necessary that besides mere learning and book knowledge, he should attain the knowledge of Atma and receive the grace of God. Question. Who is a Pandit? Answer. He who does not grieve for the living or the dead or for any object in the world is a Pandit. The Lord lays down the law of immortality of Atma. 12th sloka. Natvevaham jatu nasam natvam nime janadhipaha nacheva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayamatah param. Substance. O Arjuna, myself, you and all these kings here never were not in the past and never would not be in the future. Commentary. Through this verse, the Lord teaches the Mahavakya, Tattvamasi, thou art that. I, you, and all beings in the world are all forms of one Supreme Self. So, the individual being and the Supreme Being are not two separate entities, but one and only one. This is the most secret of all spiritual secrets. This is the essence of Brahmagnana. Since Arjuna renounced all the powers and pleasures of the three worlds, Lord Krishna considered him fit to receive the supreme knowledge and so begins to teach the highest truth. Three important facts come out in Lord's declaration that all beings are eternal. First one is Atma is eternal. Second, each individual being is Atma and not the body with name and form. Third, the one Atma pervades all beings in the world. This teaching inspires tremendous strength and courage. When a man comes to know that he and others essentially do not perish, there is no cause for grief at all. Death is then recorded as only a change of name and form. When the seed breaks up and grows into a plant, there is no need for grief at all. The name and form of the seed have disappeared, but it is there in the form of a plant. Lord Krishna found out the root cause of Arjuna's grief and sorrow, and he knew that the knowledge of Atma alone could put an end to all weaknesses and despondency. So he starts his teaching with the tremendous affirmation of the immortality of the soul and the deathlessness of the individual being. All of us hereafter, all of us, from the point of view of the Supreme Self, there is no separation between God, Guru, and the common man. All belong to the same eternal existence. So we find that Anjaneya speaking to Sri Rama says, Atma buddhyat tvamevaham. The individual being in manifesting as the ego is the result of the limitation of the body, mind, and senses. When these limitations are discarded, the so-called individual being, the ego, becomes veritably the all-pervading Supreme Self. This is the reality. Knowing that he is the immortal Atman, where is sorrow? Where is weakness? Thus the Lord inspires Arjuna with courage born of knowledge. Question. Who is Jiva? Answer. The Atman, conditioned by the body, mind and senses, is Jiva. Question. What is Atma? Answer. The unconditioned self is Atma. It exists in the present, the past and the future. It is deathless and eternal. Question. Does this apply only to a few? Answer. No. From the creating Brahma down to the meanest insect, it applies to all alike. All beings without exception are the Atma and not anything else. The Atma exists even after the death of the body. 13th sloka. Dehi nosmin yadha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tata dehantara praptihi dhirastatra namuhyati. Substance. Just as man in this body passes through the various stages of boyhood, youth and old age, like so he passes into the another body after death. The wise know it and are not deluded. Commentary. Boyhood, youth, old age and migrating into another body, these four stages are inevitable for the embodied being. In the body, it is made clear that these changes affect the body and not the Atma. When from boyhood one passes to youth, and from youth to age, he does not grow. No one grows when the seed dies as it is giving birth to the plant. And so the Lord questions why one should grow when the body falls and another is taken up by the individual being. The wise who know the secret remain firm when these changes overtake the body. The first three stages are seen and known by all, but the fourth stage is unseen, and so it is looked upon with the feeling of awe and wonder. But the Lord points out that even this change is just like the former and not in the least different from them. So he exhorts everyone to know the truth and be fearless. It should, however, be remembered that the Gnani, whose karmic force is already exhausted, has no need to take another body. The common man is subject to the law of rebirth to work out his karma till the last, when he too becomes free. Cycle of the body: boyhood, youth, old age, and rebirth. The cycle rotates inevitably so long as the karma force works. When it is neutralized and destroyed by knowledge, the man is freed from the cycle of birth and death. This is liberation, moksha. Question: what are the changes for the embodied being? Answer: boyhood, youth, old age, and rebirth in a different body are the changes. Question: who is the man of courage? Answer: he is the man of courage who does not grow when these modifications overtake the body, when man dies and passes into another body.